Welcome to the Caldera of Confusion. And yes, I do actually know what a caldera is. A beautiful and lovely world that holds over 400 different creatures and has existed in complete peace for over 6,000 years. And at the surface, absolutely nothing looks wrong with these guys. Until you take a closer look deep into the middle. You will notice a mountainous prison keeping a single tiny creature contained. This creature is named Susan. And yes, Susan is a male. Don't worry about that. It's a long story. And Susan is quite literally the most powerful creature in all of WorldBox history. Just take a look at every single one of their stats right there, and the fact that they have over 1.4 billion health, do 1 billion damage, well over 300 speed, naturally lives for 1.5 billion years. Get the idea. But some of you may recognize Susan, and for any of you actually questioning his power, just go watch this video right here, where we actually made Susan and tested him out at the end. It's safe to say that this guy won't be killed, but he will be doing a lot of killing. And I say that because even though he may look contained in his prison, in just a few years, these walls will begin to collapse, and Susan will be seeking revenge on those who put him in this prison. And then, you know, he'll probably just promptly kill thousands of people. And we are going to be following him and what he gets up to for the next 1,000 years. So as we press unpause here, you're going to notice 4 kingdoms pop up, all containing 100 people with the 4 different classic races. We have the Human Federation. In the top left, we have the Orcs of the East. Yeah, they're in the West, but Orcs of the East sounds a lot better than Orcs of the West, so you know, that's just what they went with. Up in the Northeast, we have the Golden Elves in the Savannah biome, and in the cold Arctic tundra, we have the Short People. And essentially, the purpose of all of these people here is to be victims of Susan once he's finally released. They can try to stop him if they want to, but essentially, they're all just going to be cannon fodder. Let's be real here. But luckily, since Susan is contained for right now, these guys will have several years to try and develop so that they can maybe be able to try and fend off his attacks, but it's not going to be easy. Susan will be released in exactly 250 years, but luckily, because all of these kingdoms are aware of their common enemy, all wars will be disabled. Many of these kingdoms have already started doing what they can to try and survive, but for now, since not a lot else is going on, we are going to go ahead and sim to year 6,250 when Susan will finally be released and see if these guys are ready for what's to come. And here we are at year 6,250. Sapient population has now shot up to almost 7,000, and God knows they're going to need it. The biggest kingdom by population is the Golden Elves right here. But let's check in on Susan here in the middle. What's going on here? It appears to me that there are several dozen soldiers sitting right here in the middle, actively trying to kill Susan. To which, from what it seems like, Susan literally could care less and is not doing anything at all. There's also a couple of kids over here. I don't think this is probably the best environment for them. But let's look at Susan. Yeah, Susan literally only has 1 kill. He still has all of his health. He is so unbothered by what they're doing. He's not even trying to fight back yet, because as time begins, his cage deteriorates, giving him pathways out into the real world, and it's finally time that we unleash him. We're going to give him madness. As we click unpause, his reign of terror has already begun. In just a few seconds, he already has 9 kills, and now he is leveled up, which, as you notice, will make him even stronger. This is actually why I didn't make him as physically powerful as I could, because I knew over the course of this video he would level up, meaning that if he got too powerful, he would literally break my entire game here. So he's so powerful that even I have to be careful going around about him, but he's still not quite at his full form yet, because now that he's released, I am going to give him a bunch of different talents just like so. Now he can do things like control water, has thunder and lightning, even teleport around. It's pretty much over for everyone. And also, not even to mention, but in his diet, I made him a carnivore, and he's very voracious, which will further his thirst for blood. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Let's just make him drink blood too. All right, sweet. But you get the idea. Susan is now going to go on an absolute rampage. He can pretty much do whatever he wants whenever he wants. And you know, to be honest with you, the world population is starting to creep up there a little bit, which is making my game laggy. So Susan's actually kind of doing me a favor here, so thank you for that. But let's keep time rolling here as Susan fends off everyone that's going to come for him in the middle, he will slowly begin teleporting and going around and effectively destroying the entire world. And yeah, let's just take a look at Susan absolutely tear through anybody that gets in his way. It's an absolute death trap. So now that Susan's been unleashed, he's gonna need some time to get busy, and check on him in another 250 years when we are halfway done with this challenge. I'll see you guys then. And here we are at year 6,500, roughly. But looking in at the world population is already down well over 1,000 at this point. And I know it's really hard for Susan to be in multiple places at once, but because he has the power to teleport, he has literally been all around the world massacring people. So let's check in on his individual stats just to see what he's up to. Currently, it appears he is being bombarded by about 3 different votes, and from what I can tell, he could literally care less. He does not care at all. He's just standing there. But looking in at his stats, you can see that he has 335 kills, which is over 1 a year, but that may actually seem a bit low, right? I mean, this is the most powerful person in WorldBox, but I want to address that real quick. Remember, he has more than just his fists at his disposal. He can cast thunder, he can cast fire, he can cast powerful storms from the air. All of these are things that can easily kill creatures. However, when they happen, for some reason, they don't count to Susan's actual kill count. So instead, we have to look at the total deaths from out the map. In specific, we should look at the deaths from conflict and the number of creatures eaten, because remember, he's a carnivore. And remember, diplomacy is off, so most of these deaths are going to come from Susan himself, and there are 4,600 of them, along with 1,800 creatures eaten too. Jesus Christ, he was hungry. And obviously, we do have to account for some of these deaths coming from like other sources, like other people murdering each other for no reason, because you know that typically tends to happen. So with a low estimate, we can probably safely say that in just 250 years, Susan has already been directly responsible for the death of about 5,000 people. That's an extremely high number, to say the least, considering he's only been released for a quarter of this challenge. And I would say that it's definitely most certain now that the world has seen Susan, they are most certainly terrified of him. As a matter of fact, if we go into interesting people, he is the most known creature by far. And since he only takes up a really small part of the map and is only here for a few minutes before teleporting away, he's honestly probably like an urban legend around all of these kingdoms here. Probably like sit around campfires and tell like scary stories of him or whatever. But anyway, I guess we should just let him get back to absolutely massacring anybody he comes across. Yeah, I'm not really sure why we're cheering for him after all this. So we're going to sim another 250 years until we are 3/4 done with the challenge, which will be year 6,750. I'll see you guys then. And here we are at year 6750, and from everything that I can tell, Susan has destroyed the world even more. World population is down to about 4,500 each, and ironically, all of the populations have stabilized around 1,000, so I'm not quite sure what's happening. So I think that Susan might be spending equal time around each country to keep their population low enough. But speaking of the devil, where is he at? Don't tell me he's dead, right? Oh, no, Susan could never die. I don't even know why I questioned that. Now, let's see where he is. Oh, he's up here in hell. That makes a lot of sense. I totally forgot about this part of the map. So officially, Mr. Susan has 739 kills. That's pretty good. That's over 400 more than last time's. So that means he's ramping up even more here. But remember, that's just a partial amount of the kills he has. Let's check the official death count again. Another 1,000 Ian and another 2,500 killed from conflict. This means that his total death count revolving people that have died pretty much directly because of him is now getting near 10,000. Which, if that number's about correct, would be almost 33% 100% of the entire deaths that have happened in this world. And not including all of the natural deaths, that means almost every single death that has happened here has been in some way related to Susan, which is absolutely crazy. But I guess it does make sense because I forgot to mention one teensy little thing. When I first released Susan, I thought he wasn't really powerful enough. So I actually went and installed a certain mod, the Ultra Trait Pack mod, a mod that I have never even used before for some reason, even though it adds over 200 traits. So that actually means he's even more powerful than you think, and he has traits like eternal invincibility. He literally can't die. He even has a trait called Death Crab. I literally have no clue what that could even mean. I might have to check that out later. But for now, Susan is on top and has gone from a little pumpkin to be beckoned into a force to be reckoned with. But now we have our final 250 years coming up, and you know, these kingdoms have clearly been able to survive, mainly just because one Susan alone, it makes it kind of impossible for him to actually take out all of these kingdoms. So you know what, let's help him out a bit, and by that I mean simply turning on diplomacy and rebellions, because obviously in real life, all of these kingdoms would immediately declare war on each other and try to exterminate all of each other. Why would they do that? Mainly just racism. They don't really like each other that much. But with our most interesting last 250 years coming up, we are now going to simulate all the way to year 7,000, and we're going to see how Susan finishes off and who is going to come out on top of these kingdoms if there's anybody left. I'll see you guys then. And here we are at year 7,000. The world looks very odd now. The elves are completely gone. Or no, actually, the elves are still here, but now they're replaced with orcs. This is odd. As a matter of fact, if we actually look for Susan, we will see his little icon right here in the very middle of the map, right where it all began. He is actually in his original cage, fighting off a bunch of different humans, even some mages and monkeys. I'm not gonna question it. This video has been very weird already. But as we look at Susan, holy crap, 1.3 thousand kills. That is almost double what he had last time. He has been absolutely getting to work. I'm sure some of you who have left World Zone non-stop for like 3 days straight have probably seen more kills than that, but that is some of the most I have ever seen personally. But of course, that's not even going to include all of the other deaths too. Obviously, conflict's going to be really high because, you know, I kind of let them all go to war and beat the crap out of each other. But using our past estimate and looking how many who have burned to death and been eaten now, I would say that throughout this entire video, I can probably safely say that there were about 12,000 deaths that were directly related to or caused by Susan in one way or another. But anyway, that is about all for today. You know what, we may as well go ahead and lock him up again just so he doesn't get out. You know, throughout the saga so far of Susan, we have seen Susan been made. Now we have seen Susan in action. But what happens if we actually try to kill Susan? And is it even possible with this trait that says eternal invincibility? I think I'm gonna have to check that out very soon, so be on the lookout for a video like that soon. Make sure you have notifications on so you'll see. But anyway, if you made it this far in the video, clearly I did something to entertain you, so I'd appreciate it if you would click like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Farewell.